Good evening and welcome once again to Shady Sports Network. Tonight we are joined by a very special guest. Below us is quarterback Nik Rango, most recently with the Virginia Armada, although he is looking for a new opportunity heading into the 2023 season. Nik, how are you doing tonight? And thank you for joining us.
I'm doing great, guys. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate this opportunity to come on here and be able to speak to you guys. So,
thanks, Nick.
Absolutely. So obviously, I like to kind of start at the beginning of everybody's career. So my first question for the evening is actually pretty way back in your history here. So I'm curious, since becoming involved with organized football, have you always played quarterback?
Yes. So I started at the age of 8, but unlike many people in my shoes right now, I was the backup quarterback from the age of 8 until the day I graduated high school. So that was definitely quite the obstacle I had to kind of overcome if I wanted to achieve my dreams, kind of, from being a little kid of going and playing Division I football and going to play in the NFL and stuff like that. So it was quite the hurdle for me. I started off 8 years old. Like I said, I was kind of behind a guy. I graduated from Trinity Pauling in 2017, and we had another guy who was also Division I caliber guy. He was a dual threat quarterback. Very talented. Take my hat off to him. He ended up graduating and going on to play Division I college football as well. We ran a triple option offense in high school, and he fit the system really well, and he was able to go and take his opportunity and run with it. But as for me, I was kind of after high school kind of at a standstill in terms of what I was going to do next. So I was kind of I was looking around and kind of seeing what was. I didn't really know too many options for a guy with no film and kind of a guy who, kind of had no game experience. And every time he came up to a college coach and kind of told him he wanted to play college football, but, you never seen the varsity field was definitely quite the obstacle. I went to colleges like at Marist College for a regular student, not playing any sports for my freshman year. Decided to kind of, like I said, I didn't think there would be any avenue in terms of college football. So I kind of went and just wanted to focus on my degree. Kind of halfway through the semester, I had that football bug that was itching me, watching these guys play college football and all that stuff, and it was killing me. So I was like, you know what, maybe I should start doing some more research. So I kind of found the junior college route, and I was kind of looking into it. I didn't know who would really give me an opportunity, but I compiled a little workout tape and sent it out to every junior college on the East Coast pretty much, and heard back from one school, and it was a non-scholarship junior college in upstate New York around the Albany area. It's called Hudson Valley Community College. And I was able to go there and earn a job. And in my first year of ever playing as the starting quarterback, kind of go out and break some school records and, kind of finish nationally in junior college as one of the top passers in the country, and was kind of big stepping stone for me in terms of my career. So that was a great opportunity.
Awesome. I know you're already dedicated to getting better at your craft and trying to get yourself to the next level. Does the Brock Purdy story in San Francisco give you any more fuel to the fire? Mr. Irrelevant going from Mr. Irrelevant to leading a team in the playoffs.
Absolutely. I mean, those are the, kind of as my career has gone on and kind of taken the path that not many have taken, you kind of find those underdog stories, and you kind of get behind them, like a Brock Purdy or a Kurt Warner or something like that, where, you kind of have guys that weren't the most highly touted guy coming out of college and, or whatever pretty much. And then, kind of stepping on the biggest stage and being able to produce and perform well for their team. So, guys like that, I always kind of find and emulate and try to root for, definitely going down the road. So
absolutely, got to always root for the underdogs, especially when you in fact are one at this current time. So anyone who's watched an NFL game long enough has heard a quarterback call out the Mike linebacker, pointing out 51's Mike or whatever it may be. Can you explain to us regular people in this world why the quarterback is concerned which player is the middle linebacker for the opposing defense and how it affects their reads as a quarterback?
Yeah, so that's a great question, actually. There's a lot of in-depth stuff to that. But the Mike backer essentially. The reason you call it out is just pretty much for the offensive line, so that way they kind of know where the protection's going. So with the 5 offensive linemen, a lot of times they're responsible for the 4 down defensive linemen, as well as 1 linebacker that, if he blitzes or comes, they can pick him up without having any issues and having to adjust certain plays and stuff like that. So the play might not always be towards the middle linebacker in terms of protection, that we may be sliding to the weak side linebacker or the Mike linebacker, pretty much whoever. But it's just an indicator to kind of get the offensive line on the same page and saying, this is the Mike, this is where, this is what we're working off of. And pretty much you're working left or right based off of it. So if any of the other linebackers come, pretty much I would then know that I'd have to get the ball out of my hand and kind of throw the ball hot. So that's pretty much, it's just an indicator to let everyone know that we're on the same page and that we're good to go if that guy comes.
Great. As a fan of football, I'm really hoping that this league that the Armada is currently in kind of gets rolling. The more football, the better for us as a fan. But in case it doesn't, have you considered indoor ball at all, just to compile, some more tape?
I absolutely have. I was, like I said, after everything that kind of happened with Major League Football, we were kind of trying to figure out kind of what's going on. I know they're planning on having another season for 2023, but it's in the works, and they're still trying to hear from people with that. So ever since I kind of got back from that, I've just been any options that I could get. I've been attending a million camps and talking to as many people as I can, and anything's open for me at this point. I was like I said, looking for the next opportunity.
Now that I know that that's an option, do you know how beautiful Montana is?
I have never been to Montana personally, but I have heard good things about it. And like I said, heard the weather's really nice, and I heard the scenery is beautiful. So
you would love it here. Just FYI.
Gotcha.
Coach Lachlan, if you're watching, we're trying, man. We're trying. How important is it for you and your center to be on the same page when it comes to protection calls, and how do you go about improving that chemistry?
Very important. I mean, I think the center is in charge of the offensive line. It's definitely, like I said, the job of the quarterback to kind of understand where everyone's going. And at the end of the day, those 5 guys, do the dirty work, and they keep you protected and keep you safe. So it's definitely a good thing to kind of have a good relationship with them and have trust in those guys, and they could trust, that, if they give you enough time that you can make the play happen. And it's definitely good to have those guys behind you, because those guys make everything happen. So love the big guys.
Yeah. Being a left-handed thrower of the ball, was there any left-handed QBs that you grew up watching, and any that you might emulate your style of play after?
So there was a couple I grew up watching. Lefties are few and far between in football as the higher up you go. But I grew up in the Tebow era, so I was a big Tim Tebow guy. I would love to be able to play like Michael Vick, but that's just not in the cards for me. And he is also an Eagles. He also played for the Eagles for a little bit, which I won't hold against him, being a big Giant fan. But Michael Vick was definitely one of the guys that I was watching growing up. And then Steve Young, obviously, he's probably one of the.
I was kind of hoping that would be one of your answers.
Yeah, most well-known left-handed quarterback. So Steve Young is definitely up there.
I was gonna say, are you fishing for an answer there, Steve?
Yeah.
So speaking of chemistry in the past, what are some of the things you have done to take it upon yourself to build chemistry with your pass catchers, your receivers, backs, tight ends?
So for as long as I can remember, I mean, even despite everything kind of coming up, being, not being the guy and stuff like that, I always enjoyed staying after and spending time with those guys and throwing for hours on hours on hours. I mean, I could remember growing up and all my buddies were all the buddies were the tight ends and receivers and running backs and stuff like that. And we'd always get together. I mean, multiple times a week, and we'd throw fade route after fade route after hitch after slant, just for hours on hours on hours. And I kind of took that all the way through my career. I genuinely enjoy doing it. I genuinely enjoy, the work that's kind of not noticed by others really, not even by coaches really, just kind of, getting these guys all together. We all kind of develop a relationship. And then, like I said, we throw for hours on end, and then come game time, it's like we're throwing in the backyard, kind of. That's kind of the whole premise of it. But I've always enjoyed that, and like I said, whenever anyone who's willing to come throw with me and come get some work in, like I said, I can't. That work is, I think, the best part about football is that type of stuff right there. So,
yeah, for sure. The MLF kind of announced a couple high-profile coaching hires with Jerry Glanville and your head coach Terry Shea. Have you had the opportunity to work with the coach, and are you excited to kind of build on that relationship if possible?
Yeah, so we got the opportunity this summer. It was kind of like they were kind of doing a startup season. It was supposed to be a shortened season to kind of kick off the league. We came down to Mobile, Alabama for training camp, and that's where I was able to work with Coach Shea, who, like I said, what an amazing opportunity to pick that guy's brain, just with all the football knowledge he knows, especially at my position. I learned so much in the time being there. It was unfortunate that, like I said, the season wasn't able to kick off due to the financial issues. But like I said, the work that I was able to get in with Coach Shea and guys like that, being able to see NFL, and guys who are in NFL locker rooms, CFL locker rooms, all that type of stuff, to kind of match up against them competition wise and kind of seeing that you could play with them and be able to compete was, definitely good for me and my confidence as well. And like I said, learned so much from Coach Shea, and I'm so happy to have that guy in my corner.
Love that.
So one of the things that I wanted to highlight is obviously the situation when the MLFB was very ugly. Nobody wants to see players go through any of that. But on the flip side of that, we actually got to see kind of an insight into Coach Shea and the kind of man that he is behind the curtains. I had heard reports that he had actually stepped up and paid out of his pocket, despite not having been paid as a coach, to keep players in their hotel room. I mean, talk to me just about the type of man Coach Shea is and what he was able to teach you so far.
Well, I think that kind of gave everyone an insight because, I mean, we all knew that coming in. You very quickly, being around Coach Shea, you kind of see how much the guy cares. And I think that's taken for granted a lot in this game of professional football where, like I said, money's on the line and wins and losses and all that stuff. When I tell you that guy cares so much about every single person in that locker room, from coaches to players to trainers to everything like that. Like I said, Coach Shea really had me have a different appreciation for the game. So I still keep in touch with him now. Like I said, I just spoke to him about a week and a half ago, on the phone, and it's always good to, like I said, that guy, I can't say enough good things about that guy. He's an amazing coach.
The Armada had a few offensive weapons that had either they had NFL experience or XFL experience. I mean, before the financial problems, what kind of offense was that looking to shape up to be?
It was real exciting.
Yeah.
I'm really bummed out that it didn't, wasn't able to work out for that season. But everyone in that locker room kind of had the expectation that we were going to go in and do really well, and we were looking to win a championship. So, like I said, it was amazing to see guys come from all over, all different backgrounds, whether it was the NFL, CFL, to guys who were, Division II standouts, Division III guys. We had guys from all over who were just hungry and feeding off that energy of kind of competing, and all bought into the, Coach Shea's plan of, doing well and winning the championship. And it was great to be down there for the time that I was, and be a part of that.
If you're just joining us, we are joined by quarterback Nik Rango, formerly of the Virginia Armada. And this seems like a perfectly good time to fire up some of your highlight tapes. So we'll go ahead and play your off-season highlight film. We'll go ahead and keep talking. It's going to be muted. So playing quarterback is often likened to being a field general for good reason. When times are good, you're likely the first to get praise. And when times are bad, you're likely the first to get criticized. So talk to me about how a true leader handles adversity in order to keep their team focused when they're all looking to you for answers.
I think it's being the same guy, regardless of the outcome, whether it's good or bad. I think the guys who kind of stay even keel and kind of stay on path to, what the team goal is, and being a team first guy, and, not letting the highs get too high and not letting the lows get too low, and just being a consistent, worker and leader for those guys. I think that's the most important part about playing quarterback is, being there for your guys and, knowing they could count on you.
In doing my research on you, I found that you're constantly working. What motivates you to continue this journey?
I think first off, I think it's just the fact that I love it so much. That old saying where it's just, do what you love doing and you'll never work a day in your life. This isn't like a job for me. This isn't a 9 to 5. This is, like I said, I love doing this. I've loved doing this since I could walk, since I, started playing football. So, I know nothing else. And I kind of carry that chip on my shoulder being the underdog. So I know my dreams of playing in the NFL and, playing professional football and all that stuff and everything that I want to accomplish isn't going to happen without, me getting to work every day and getting better and constantly, improving as a player and as a leader and as a teammate. So that's what needs to be done.
On that note, you would go on to attend the Hub Camp for a second time after the announcement of a partnership with USFL, working with guys like new head coach John DeFilippo of the New Orleans Breakers. With that being said, how do you feel about your performance on that day, and do you feel you put yourself on anyone's radar?
I feel like I came out and I competed well. I definitely believe that the film was definitely solid, and I was, able to come out and compete and throw some guys that, never worked with before. And, that's always a challenge in itself, but I felt like I came out well and I competed. And like I said, those hub camps are pretty big in the free agent professional football world, and especially with the partnership with the USFL. You go to one of those things and do really well, someone's going to find you.
I know you pitched at a high level in high school. Did you play any other positions? What kind of batter were you? And did you ever consider playing baseball professionally?
Baseball. So, baseball was always a fun thing for me. I always was a football and baseball guy, and it worked out well with, spring baseball and football in the fall. So I had a pretty good high school career. I ended up batting, I think it was over 300. I know that. So I always prided myself on the lefty bat and, the left, like I said.
I was going to ask you if you batted lefty too. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a true lefty through and through. There's nothing right-handed about me. So, baseball, that was always the advantage. They're always looking for lefties to, hit the ball or pitch or anything like that. It seems kind of a little bit different with football. But lefties are normally not celebrated in the game of football. So baseball is a little bit different. So they always were trying to get me to come out and pitch, being that I was left-handed and I could throw the ball.
That's kind of an interesting now that you point that out. I've never really made that connection, but you're right. Lefties are so far and few between in the modern professional game that I kind of wonder what the stigma is there for coaches. But we're going to go ahead and fire up your first Hub Camp film as well. So tried to get as much film on you as possible so we could play it while we were talking. Do you believe the publicity you received due to the MLFB has helped or hurt your career since?
Definitely helped. Maybe, like I said, definitely I could even speak for myself, just like I said, in terms of, just playing with that confidence and knowing, kind of seeing that talent level and seeing that stuff and being able to, do well in that environment. But also, like I said, being able to, gain that experience of playing under a coach like Coach Shea and working with those guys, it definitely, gives you some steam moving forward in terms of your credibility and as a quarterback, going forward. So definitely think that working with the Major League Football, was a good thing.
So playing on the East Coast, I imagine you've had plenty of opportunity to play in a lot of weather games or in the cold, a lot of snow games. Do you enjoy playing in those type of games? Are you a good cold weather quarterback?
We take pride in that up here. That's kind of our superpower. When like I said, every playoff football is played in the cold, so that's the when it gets cold, being comfortable in uncomfortable environments is definitely a good thing to have as a quarterback. And like I said, practicing it, even working now, throwing in the cold, doing all that stuff, so that way when it comes game time, nothing's surprising to you. You know what you're doing. You can just focus on your task at hand, and that's that's moving the ball and winning football games.
I love that mentality. I mean, like you said, playoff football is played in the cold, so definitely makes sense. Would you entertain offers to play overseas, or I guess over the borders, in leagues like the LFA, the AFL, in terms of the Austrian Football League or the European League of Football?
Absolutely. Like I said, I was considering all options, and I will put this out here. I'm not going to give all the information, yet, but in our time talking with you, I got in contact with one coach, and I the other day was able to sign a contract to play for the 2023 season. The team hasn't announced it yet, but in the coming days, I will be officially signing with a pro football team. So that's where my next opportunity awaits.
Fantastic! Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very nice. Congratulations, man. I'm very happy for you. I'm super excited for you. It's always one of those things where you never really know how it's going to go, especially this late in the off season. One of the things that nobody really talks about is when you're trying to get in the outdoor game, they typically start a little bit later than the indoor leagues. So if you don't sign a contract with the indoor leagues pursuing the outdoor leagues, sometimes you can kind of get left out in the cold. So I'm very encouraged and very happy for you to get that deal.
Thank you.
So my final question for the evening is fairly simple. Obviously, every player is playing football up against the clock. Although we've seen more and more players play deep into their 40s, especially at the quarterback position. Football is simply not a career that can last forever, unfortunately. With that being said, have you put any thought into your post-playing career and what you might end up doing when your playing days are done? Maybe even some appearances on Shady Sports Network as an analyst?
Most of my thought has been coming into my playing career as of right now, just like I said, with everything. But I've always had the drive to kind of, once it's all over, kind of be able to teach the quarterback position. It's such a developing and changing, every day it's getting more intricate. And I mean, offenses are changing. The type of guys you're seeing that are playing the position now, everything's evolving. I think it would be a great opportunity, like once my playing career is over, to be able to kind of learn everything that I was taught along the way, to kind of, share that with the next generation and kind of help them along the way.
Absolutely. I love that thought process. So definitely we'll have to look out for you being a coach at some point. And then, I'll have to get all the inside information on the team that you're coaching.
Gotcha.
But, with that being said, we've kind of reached the part of the evening in which I'm going to give you the floor. I mean, if you want to shout anybody out, talk about any topics that we didn't touch on, this is kind of your time to talk about whatever you'd like to talk about.
Yeah. So, like I said, you guys being able to have me on, despite, like I said, I understand that I kind of don't have the pedigree that the normal Division I quarterback does. I kind of had to take a little bit different road once I got to the Division I level, and it's been definitely a roller coaster of emotions. But being able to kind of share my story here with you guys, I really appreciate everything that you guys have done for me, and being able to kind of speak on a platform like this where I could kind of share the story and kind of use it, use my platform right now to kind of inspire somebody, maybe who, like I said, who's kind of in that underdog role right now, where it's like, I wasn't dealt the right cards, maybe as someone else, but I could kind of, use that to my advantage and kind of use that as fuel to kind of carry me through my athletic career. And then, like I said, who knows what's going to happen down the road. It only takes one coach to believe in you. And that's kind of what I'm starting to see as my young professional career is starting. It only takes one guy to kind of say he likes, he believes in you, and he's going to give you a shot for you to kind of use your platform and, and compete. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So like I said, I can't thank you guys enough.
I can't wait to see where you sign. This is going to be exciting.
I'm definitely excited.
Absolutely. Well, once again, man, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure learning more about your career and kind of speaking with you behind the camera. I hope we keep in touch. I'm looking forward to seeing where you signed as well. And we'll definitely have to get an article out there for you.
Absolutely, guys. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So for anybody who tuned in, we really appreciate all the support. If you haven't already, make sure you share this with all your friends. Nick's story is very interesting, and he's going to be a guy that you're going to be watching play on Sundays very soon. I have no doubt in my mind. With that being said, I really appreciate everybody who tuned in. If you haven't done so already, like, comment, subscribe on this, this channel, this video, and we'll catch you in the next one. Have a great night.